All right. Welcome everybody. I'm your host, D-Man. This is Purpose for Patriots YouTube channel or on any other platform. Excuse me. If I do decide to upload it out there, I'm continuing the conversation at Red Build Kevin Samuels. And this is a conversation where he hits on quite a few topics like James Earl Jones, the myth of white womanhood, why the black community is in a matriarchy, the role reversal, the fact that a lot of black men are silenced within the black community and black women dominate the conversation, and also the hiding of information that is not passed down to the true reasons why the black community is a matriarchy, and passing that information down to the next generation of blackberry. So yeah, let's continue that conversation. I really think this is a conversation that many people wouldn't have heard of. There's so many clips of Kevin Samuels roasting different women and actually trying to give them the truth. But what you have to realize is that when we talk about things within the black community, we need to talk about things about hard culture. Okay, this is not simply about food, music, and clothing. This is about, what are our beliefs? What are the cultural things that we pass down? One of the things that I talk about a lot is that we pass down education through the girls, whereas most communities globally, overall majority, pass education down through their sons, through their boys, through their men. And in the black community, it's the opposite way around. The black community, because it is a matriarchy, it severely suppresses their boys through education, through economics. So a lot of the money is passed from white supremacy into the hands of black women, to the suppression of black men and boys, and also the suppression through the judicial and policing system. And the other aspect is the violence that is on black men through the system, through lynching. Shout out to Toreen Walker and Dr. Solomon Curry and Dr. Tierson Johnson, who have done extensive research, and also shout out to Christopher Granderson as well, who's a black man in the UK who has had experience with Black America, and he talks about black men's masculinity and the fact that they are the triple threat as an outgroup population of men in the UK and in the USA. And it talks about the sexual threat, and it talks about evolutionary psychology, but I won't get into that for today because I do need to do some episodes on black masculinity and the fact that black masculinity is great. It is the thing that can bind the black community together. Got the group of women that you currently have, you don't want to listen, you don't want to be under the leadership of black men who don't understand what black men go through in life. All they'll do is just they have pity for us in black male death, and we need their advocacy, and we need the freedom of black men in black male life, rather than arguing us about what we think about or what we want to try and do with our lives. So yeah, let us continue this conversation, and we'll try to continue.
Okay. And a lot of these women work on the northwest side of town cleaning this minced Ann's house.
Yep.
My mom was one of those people. So this is fresh on my mind, and we were on the hangout. Remember, I was there for a split
Okay.
so I came with when I left the hangout, I was going to dinner and I saw this and I was like, oh, hell no.
But it was a positive exchange. Okay. Okay. Because like I said, it wasn't. I really didn't want to get that deep into it because I know the feelings get kind of raw, and the more I actually put up, the more kind of resistance or opposition I got. So I put up, I put up more. I actually wanted that. I actually wanted to finish the actual series. Like I'm done with it. It's over. But James Earl Jones just kind of blew up. And I'm still cleaning out the comment section. But
The James L. Jones piece, as it stands, I mean, it was such a stark contrast. Him next to his woman.
oh yeah,
Then when that woman, what was her VP or whoever,
yeah,
put her comments, I was like, she later composed like she couldn't have scripted a better response, and it was finally laid out in a succinct format, bite-sized enough for everyone to recognize the truth. And the truth is so glaring you can't look away from it.
yeah. She's still pissed off about that.
But she can be pissed off. But when I saw what happened in my house yesterday,
Uh-huh.
I didn't expect it to go be a productive conversation, but I actually had women sitting there saying, "Yeah, we need to delve more into this because the state of the Black community, we are at the top, we are running everything, and it is upside down." And I have some very attractive women in my family, but I was raised in a cover.
Yeah. And this again is like what, and this is why I take a look at this from a biblical perspective. Any culture that has the women leader, that has women being the key decision makers, are ahead with only a body. And this is why I talk about the role reversal when I talk about it from a Christian perspective, because men are to lead. Okay? Men are to lead. It's a very simple concept. Even people who don't agree with the Bible, who don't believe in Christ, who don't believe in the scriptures, understand that men lead. And even in this world where women can work as much as men, they can have careers as much as men, they can be educated just as men, okay, women still don't lead the way that men lead. And this is why you have confusion, you have out of order behavior. So yeah, it's a very important and powerful conversation, because this is why anytime there isn't peace, anytime there isn't there's a lack of where there is confusion, um, you see a lack of peace. So all of these women are trying to, be the new man and work as hard as men and do all these things as much as men do. That they want to do that because feminism tricked them into thinking that it's very, men are just out here doing what they want, doing whatever things that they want to do. And that's simply not true. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. When things go wrong, it's on the man. And as one front kit said, don't let them trick you. Don't let them trick you. But yeah, anytime you see a role reversal, and there's a bit of research that Dr. Tia Son Johnson did in terms of the Caribbean matriarchy and how they pushed the education through the women. And this is something that goes all the way back to slavery, okay, where the man was the buck and the beast of burden. Whereas women were the educated class. So that's why they gave them the blueprints, they gave them the accounts, and they gave them the English, they gave them their trigonometry. Okay. And also when it came to buying stuff, even after Jim Crow, the interface between the family and the white society was the black woman. A black man couldn't go for the shop and buy stuff without his wife, or he would get her the money to pay. And I think 50 Cent even had a story of this with his grandparents, where he comes home and where he came home and his grandfather basically gave his mother the check and to kind of, and then if she did all the accounting, and if she wanted to buy some new shoes or anything like that, then she would understand that this is all the money that they have. So black women had always led the black community, because that's the way white supremacy has designed it, to kind of keep the black community in a in a very subservient and crippled position. Okay, so yeah, this is more of that. But let me go get my charger, and then I'll plug that in while we continue the conversation. Well, actually, let me just stop it on there. Well, that's part 2 done. Let you draw and stop that. So yeah, this is Purposeful Patriarchs. I'm your host, E-Man. Thanks for listening to this section.